Episode 6. Apollo, the law that makes the world music.
Most people imagine Apollo as a good-looking guy with a lyre, the god of light, harmony and beauty. But the ancients had a very different reaction to it. In Plato's Cratylus, Socrates says that some people feared the name Apollo because they associate it with the verb apollymi, which means to destroy. And they trembled not out of superstition, but out of misunderstanding. For Plato, Apollo is not the destroyer of beings. He's the dissolver of illusion, the force that breaks what is false so that what is true may appear. Apollo is not a mythological character. He is the cosmic law that makes the universe comprehensible, the clarity behind all things, the rhythm that turns chaos into order. So today we will uncover the Apollo that Plato reveals, the intelligence that tunes the cosmos and purifies the human soul. 1. Plato's fourfold Apollo. In the Cratylus, Plato unfolds something astonishing. The name Apollo contains 4 different meanings, 4 doors to one divine reality, and 4 movements of the same light. So these 4 functions are Aplous, undivided clarity, Aeí Ballon, infallible accuracy, Poleo, cosmic harmony, and Apolouon, purification through truth. And this is not linguistics, it's metaphysics. Let's see them all one by one. 1. Aplous, the undivided mind. The first meaning Plato gives is Aplous, the simple, the single, the undivided. Aplous is not some childish simplicity and naivety. It is wholeness. It is a mind that can see without fragmentation anymore, a perception that it is unbroken by emotions, fear, desire, or any kind of confusion. And this corresponds to what the ancients called mantic vision. And this is not prediction, it is direct insight. It's the ability to perceive truth immediately before the mind splits it into pieces. So Aplous is consciousness that sees reality as one continuous field, and this is Apollo as clear seeing. Here's something that almost no one notices. Aplous does not belong to what we call today rational thinking or the traditional Western thought. It belongs to the deepest currents of the East. The undivided mind appears in other traditions, appears in Hinduism as non-dual awareness, appears in Taoism as Wuji, the state before all unity, in Buddhism as the mind before fragmentation, and also in the Greek Orthodox Issachist tradition, which preserved many elements of the ancient Greek Noetic philosophy. The same idea appears as onous aplous, the purified and undivided mind. But the pure ancient Greek tradition does something absolutely unique, because it doesn't treat this state as something mystical. It treats it as a principle of cosmic intelligence. And this is why Apollo stands at the bridge between Greece and the West, because Apollo is the revelation that clarity is non-dual, that the mind sees only when it is whole, that fragmentation is illusion, that the world becomes intelligible only when consciousness returns to unity. And most people think Greek thought is Western rationality. It is not. Under Apollo, Greek thought stands at the same root as the Eastern traditions, but it is a part of a structure that we are discussing in all these videos. It is a philosophical architecture, and this is the hidden magnitude of Aplous, and almost no one realizes it. 2. Aeí Ballon, the one who never misses. The second meaning is Aeí Ballon, the one who always hits. Apollo's arrow is not a weapon, it symbolizes causality, that everything follows a trajectory, that nothing is random, that every choice we take is an arrow, and every action has a direction, and every intention has a consequence. So to live Apollonianly is to recognize that what you truly aim at, you will eventually reach, consciously or unconsciously. So Aeí Ballon is the law of accuracy in both the cosmos and the soul, the straight line of truth that is moving through a cyclical experience. 3. Poleo, the harmonizer of the cosmos. Next comes the meaning that is tied to the verb poleo, polarity, polos, pole. So to rotate, to move in cycles, to regulate, to bring into order. With the prefix a, which is unifying, Poleo and also ὁμοπολών means the one who harmonizes all motions, the one who tunes the moving parts into concord. So this is why Apollo is the god of music, not because he plays the lyre, but because he tunes the universe like a lyre. So he harmonizes the movements of the heavens, the mathematical ratios, underlying sound, the laws of nature, the inner balance of the human psyche. The ancients believed that the cosmos is an instrument. What kind of instrument? An instrument of consciousness, and Apollo is the one who keeps it in tune. When your life begins to resonate, to fall into right proportion, when you sound like yourself, that is Apollo within you. Apolouon, the purifier. The final meaning is Apolouon, the one who washes away, the one who purifies, from the verb luo, which means to cleanse. So Apollo heals through illumination. Light purifies because whatever is revealed loses its power to corrupt. Whatever is exposed can no longer deceive, and whatever becomes visible begins to transform you. So Apollo destroys darkness not by force, but by making darkness impossible, by making the unconscious conscious, as Carl Jung says. Apollo is dissolving illusion. Apolouon is Apollo as the fire of truth that burns away the false. The cosmic lyre, Apollo's music. For the ancients, music was not entertainment. Music was motion covered by number, mathematics made audible. So the lyre of Apollo was not an instrument of pleasure, it was a cosmic diagram, a cosmic map. And each string represented proportion, ratio, ordered vibration, the hidden geometry through which the whole world holds together. So when Apollo plays the lyre, he's not performing, he's revealing something far more radical, that the universe itself is built on harmony, and the existence moves in measurable relations, and that reality is not chaos but ordered resonance. The Greeks did not say the universe contains music, they were saying that the universe is music. The 7 strings, a universal structure. Here is a detail that changes everything. The Apollonian lyre was traditionally 7-stringed, and this was not out of randomness, it was not something artistic, but something cosmological. 7 tones of the scale, 7 fundamental planetary spheres, and 7 ordered movements of the soul. In Plato's Timaeus, the soul of the cosmos is woven from ratios, intervals, and circular motions. So the soul moves in cycles, not in straight lines. And now something interesting. Across Eastern traditions, the same structure appears not as a sound, but as inner movement. We have 7 chakras, 7 ascending centers of consciousness, 7 stages through which life rises towards clarity. And it's not borrowing, it's convergence. Different civilizations describing the same unfolding architecture with different symbolic languages. Plato's missing link, the body as lyre. Plato goes even further. In the Timaeus, he describes how the immortal soul is bound to the body through circular motions, which are disturbed by the soul entering matter. So the body becomes a seat of continuous inflow and outflow, remember Poseidon here, within which the circular motions of the immortal soul are shaken and distorted. And then Plato reveals something extraordinary. He places the binding of the soul in the marrow and calls the bone that encloses it hieron ostun, which means the sacred bone. The spinal axis is not an anatomical coincidence, it is the axis of incarnation. So the soul descends along it and the soul ascends through it, just like a vibration moving through a string. The hidden meaning. Now everything comes together. The lyre is not outside you. The lyre, it is you. So the spine is the lyre's frame. All the inner channels are its strings, and consciousness is the vibration. So when life is distorted, the music becomes noise. When perception fragments, the harmony collapses. But when clarity returns, and when motion becomes proportion, and when the inner life is tuned, the human being becomes an instrument. It produces melody. This is Apollo's music. It is not sound for the ears. It is harmony for the being. Apollo does not give melodies, he gives alignment. He teaches the soul how to vibrate correctly within the laws of existence. So whether you call it harmonia, harmony, or logos, or even kundalini rising through the ordered centers, the principle is the same here, that life becomes intelligible only when it moves in tune with truth. Apollo is the law that tunes the instrument, and when the instrument is tuned, reality produces a melody. The ancients did not have particle accelerators, but they possessed something far more dangerous, ontological intuition. For them, reality was not made out of things, it was made of vibrations. So, strings under tension, motion governed by ratio, and matter as frozen rhythms. Apollo's lyre is not a metaphor, it is a model. So, when tension changes, sound changes. When sound changes, form changes. And when form changes, the world changes. So this is precisely what modern string theory suggests, that the fundamental blocks of nature are not particles but vibrating strings. The Greeks expressed the same thing differently. So the word cosmos comes from kosmima, which means ornament. It is order, it is harmony, it is music. So perhaps the first string theory was not written in equations, but played on Apollo's lyre. The psychological Apollo, the inner law. Inside each human being, Apollo is the function that seeks clarity, coherence, accuracy, harmony, and alignment. He's the demand for truth, even when truth is uncomfortable. So, whenever you straighten your life according to what is real, you are following Apollo. Whenever you betray truth for comfort or distraction, you drift away from Apollo. Apollo is the inner law that brings the soul back into tune. Plato's four meanings form a single structure. Aplous, clarity. Aeí Ballon, accuracy. Poleo, ὁμοπολών, harmony. And Apolouon, purification. This is the architecture of Apollo, and it is the architecture of the awakening mind. When these four operate together, life starts to sound right. When they are absent, life falls out of tune. Who Apollo truly is. So who is Apollo? Not just a sun god, not a handsome guy, not a mythological musician. Apollo is the clarity that reveals truth, the accuracy that guides us, the harmony that sustains unity, and the purification that frees consciousness. He is the cosmic law that makes both the world and the soul understandable. So Apollo is the force that makes reality sing in tune. Next time we will explore Artemis, and Artemis is the archetype of the boundary of the soul, the power of inner sovereignty, and the night mirror of Apollo's light. Where Apollo tunes the world, Artemis protects the self.